The Wishing Breeze. Chapter 1. The Whispering Wind. The world was settling into its nightly hush. The sun had dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in soft purples and blues before fading into a deep, velvety black. Stars blinked awake one by one, tiny silver eyes watching over the sleepy earth. On a quiet hill where the grass swayed in slow, drowsy waves, a gentle breeze stirred. This was no ordinary wind. Her name was Zephyr, and she was the softest, kindest breeze in all the world. While other winds roared and rushed, Zephyr moved with a whisper, her touch as light as a feather brushing against a cheek. She didn't rattle windows or shake trees. Instead, she carried something far more precious: sleepy wishes. Every night, as children curled beneath their blankets, their whispered hopes floated into the air like tiny glowing fireflies. "I wish for sweet dreams," a little girl named Mia murmured into her pillow. "I wish the shadows weren't so scary," a boy named Leo thought as he clutched his stuffed bear. These wishes, fragile and warm, drifted upward, caught by Zephyr's tender currents. Tonight, as Zephyr glided over rooftops and treetops, she gathered them all. The wishes for lullabies, for brave dreams, for one more bedtime story. She swirled them together, a swirling invisible tapestry of dreams waiting to be woven into the night. But then she felt it. A small, trembling wish, quivering like a leaf in the cold. "I wish I wasn't scared of the dark." It came from Leo, a little boy with round, worried eyes tucked beneath a blanket that he had pulled up to his nose. His room was cozy. A nightlight glowed faintly, stuffed animals stood guard on the shelves, but the corners still stretched long and unfamiliar in the dimness. Shadows that were harmless by day now seemed to shift and whisper when the moon rose. Zephyr paused, hovering near his window. She had heard many wishes before, but this one tugged at her like a little hand grasping for comfort. "He needs help," she thought. With a determined ripple, Zephyr curled around Leo's wish, cradling it close. She wouldn't just carry this one, she would answer it. But how? She wasn't a magic lamp or a shooting star. She was just a breeze. Yet, as she danced away from Leo's window, she remembered something the oldest winds had told her. The night is full of helpers if you know where to look. So Zephyr set off, her path lit by the moon's silvery glow. Over sleepy villages and silent forests she floated, gathering other wishes as she went. A baby owl in a tall oak yawned, "I wish someone would sing me to sleep." A little girl named Ruby, half dreaming, sighed, "I wish for a story about dragons." Zephyr swirled them into her invisible embrace, humming softly as she travelled. But Leo's wish stayed at the centre of her thoughts. Where could she find courage for him? She drifted past a brook where the water chuckled over smooth stones. "Ask the willow," it seemed to say. So Zephyr fluttered toward the grand old willow tree at the edge of the meadow, its long branches swaying like wise, trailing fingers. "Old willow," Zephyr whispered, "a little boy is afraid of the dark. How can I help him?" The willow's leaves rustled, and a voice, soft as dried reeds brushing together, answered, "The bravest light shines from within." Zephyr tilted in confusion. "But how does that help Leo?" The willow only sighed. "You'll see." Frustrated but hopeful, Zephyr twirled onward. The night was deep now, the stars bright as scattered sugar. Somewhere, she knew, there was an answer. And she wouldn't stop until she found it. The end of Chapter 1. Chapter 2. The Journey Begins. The night stretched before Zephyr like a great silken blanket, embroidered with stars. The breeze swirled with purpose now. Leo's trembling wish nestled safely within her currents. She had a mission, one that sent her skimming over rooftops, through rustling trees, and across fields where fireflies flickered like tiny lanterns. As she travelled, she listened. Everywhere, sleepy whispers floated into the air, delicate as dandelion fluff. "I wish for a dream about flying," sighed a little girl with curls like spun gold, her eyelids fluttering shut. "I wish my blanket was as warm as sunshine," murmured a small boy, burrowing deeper into his bed. Zephyr gathered them all, weaving the wishes into her breeze like threads of starlight. Each one glowed faintly, some pink as cotton candy, others blue as twilight, and together they hummed a soft, wordless lullaby. But one wish stood out. From the hollow of an ancient oak, a tiny, fuzzy face peeked out. A baby owl, barely bigger than a teacup, blinked up at the sky with wide, tired eyes. "I wish someone would sing me to sleep," the owlet yawned. Zephyr paused. She wasn't a bird or a cricket. She didn't know any owl lullabies. But then she remembered the other wishes she carried, humming and glowing in her embrace. Maybe. With a gentle exhale, she rustled the leaves above the owlet's nest. The sound mixed with the whispers of Mia's flying dream and Ruby's dragon story, blending into something new. A melody as light as cobwebs, sweet as honey. The owlet's eyes widened. "Is that for me?" Zephyr twirled in answer, and the music swirled around the nest like a cozy scarf. The owlet nestled down, wings tucked tight, and with a final contented whew, drifted into sleep. Pleased, Zephyr danced onward. But the night was slipping away. Soon dawn would blush the sky, and Leo's wish would still be unanswered. She needed to move faster. Over a babbling brook she flew, where the water giggled over smooth stones. "Little breeze," it called, "where are you off to in such a hurry?" "I'm looking for something to help a boy who's afraid of the dark," Zephyr whispered. The brook gurgled thoughtfully. The glowworms in the meadow know all about light. Maybe they can help?" Zephyr dipped in gratitude and darted toward the meadow, where the grass swayed in moonlit waves. But when she arrived, the glowworms were already asleep, their tiny lights dimmed until nightfall. Her hope flickered, until a sound made her pause. A giggle, tiny, tinkling like wind chimes. Beneath a toadstool, a glowbug named Twinkle was wide awake, her golden light pulsing cheerfully. "You're up late," Zephyr observed. Twinkle stretched her tiny legs. "I was waiting for you." "For me?" "Of course. The night's full of whispers, and yours was the loudest." Twinkle's light brightened. "You're looking for a way to help a little boy, aren't you?" Zephyr swirled in surprise. "How did you know?" Twinkle's laughter sparkled. "Fear of the dark is my specialty. Watch this." She fluttered up, landing on Zephyr's invisible shoulder, and whispered a secret, one so warm and bright that the breeze shivered with delight. "Oh," Zephyr breathed. "That's perfect." With Twinkle's golden light glowing beside Leo's wish, Zephyr turned toward home. The stars overhead seemed to twinkle in approval, and even the wind itself felt lighter, as if the night were sighing in relief. But the journey wasn't over yet. Somewhere, dawn was stirring, and Zephyr had to reach Leo before the sun chased the magic away. The end of Chapter 2. Chapter 3. The Glowbug's Secret. The meadow stretched before Zephyr, bathed in the soft silver glow of the moon. The grass swayed gently, whispering secrets to the night, while fireflies flickered like tiny stars that had drifted too close to the earth. Twinkle, the little glowbug, pulsed with golden light as she hovered beside Zephyr, her tiny wings humming like a lullaby. "You really think this will help Leo?" Zephyr asked, her breeze brushing against Twinkle's glow. Twinkle giggled, her light shimmering brighter. "Oh, absolutely. The dark isn't scary, it's just a cozy blanket for dreams. But sometimes little ones forget that." She flitted closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "What they need is a reminder that even the smallest light can make the shadows friendly." Zephyr swirled thoughtfully. "But how?" Twinkle's antennae twitched with excitement. "Watch this." She closed her eyes, and for a moment her glow dimmed. Then suddenly it burst into a warm golden spark, brighter than before. It wasn't just light, it was magic, the kind that made the air feel like a hug. "This," Twinkle said proudly, "is a brave light. It's not just for seeing, it's for feeling safe." Zephyr gasped as the glow pulsed in time with her breeze, as if it were alive. "It's perfect," Twinkle nodded. "But you have to carry it carefully. It's fragile, like a wish." She nudged the spark toward Zephyr, who wrapped it gently in her currents, right beside Leo's trembling wish. The two glowed together, swirling like fireflies in a dance. "Now hurry," Twinkle urged. "Dawn isn't far off and wishes are strongest while the world is still dreaming." With a grateful whirl, Zephyr lifted into the sky, Twinkle's golden spark cradled safely within her. The night seemed to lean in, curious. The trees rustled encouragingly, and the stars twinkled as if cheering her on. But the journey back wasn't as smooth as before. A mischievous night gust, much stronger than Zephyr, suddenly swooped down from the clouds. "Hoo-hoo, what's this? A little breeze carrying secrets?" It boomed, swirling around her playfully. Zephyr wobbled, tightening her grip on Leo's wish and the brave light. "Please, I need to get back." The night gust chuckled. "Not so fast. Let's see what you've got." It blew harder, trying to peek inside Zephyr's currents. For a heart-stopping moment, the brave light flickered, but then, from below, a chorus of tiny voices rose. "The fireflies from the meadow!" They zipped upward, forming a glowing net of light beneath Zephyr, steadying her. "Go!" they chimed together. With their help, Zephyr darted away from the teasing gust, soaring over the now sleeping meadow, past the brook, which gave an encouraging gurgle, and back toward the village where Leo lay waiting. Her breeze grew softer as she neared his window, careful not to wake him. Leo was curled under his blanket, his stuffed bear clutched tight. The shadows in his room stretched long, but they weren't scary, just quiet, like they were holding their breath. Zephyr hesitated. How exactly did the brave light work? Then she remembered Twinkle's words. Even the smallest light can make the dark feel safe. Slowly, gently, she let the golden spark drift down, settling right beside Leo's pillow. It glowed softly, just enough to turn the nearest shadows into gentle shapes. A shelf became a castle, a coat on a chair became a friendly giant taking a nap. Leo stirred, blinking sleepily at the light. For the first time, he didn't tense at the dark. Instead, he smiled, his fingers loosening around his bear. "Pretty," he mumbled, eyes closing again. Outside, Zephyr sighed in relief. It was working, but her night wasn't over yet. Mia's wish for sweet dreams still fluttered in her breeze, and the baby owl's lullaby needed finishing. With a final glance at Leo's peaceful face, Zephyr twirled away, ready to weave the rest of the night's magic. The end of Chapter 3. Chapter 4. The Wish Comes Home. The first hint of dawn tinged the horizon like the softest watercolour, pale pink and gold, bleeding into the fading night. Zephyr knew she didn't have much time left. The wishes she carried pulsed gently in her breeze, each one a tiny heartbeat of hope, waiting to be delivered. Leo's wish was safe now, nestled beside the brave light that Twinkle had given her. But there were others still waiting. Mia's dream of flying, the baby owl's unfinished lullaby, and little Ruby's whispered hope for a dragon story. Zephyr swirled faster, her breeze humming with purpose as she wove through the waking world. First she drifted to Mia's window. The little girl lay curled on her side, one hand tucked under her cheek. Outside, the wind chimes on her porch tinkled softly, as if calling Zephyr over. "I wish for a dream about flying," Mia had whispered earlier. Zephyr knew just what to do. She gathered the fluffiest dandelion seeds she could find, spinning them into the air above Mia's bed. Then, with a gentle push, she sent them floating downward, each one carrying the faintest whisper of wind and sky, and up, up, up. Mia sighed in her sleep, her fingers twitching as if grasping for invisible wings. One wish down. Next, the baby owl. The oak tree stood silent in the pre-dawn hush, its branches swaying slightly as Zephyr approached. The owlet was still asleep, but his tiny talons clenched and unclenched restlessly. His wish, "I wish someone would sing me to sleep," had been half answered earlier, but now Zephyr had an idea. She rustled the leaves above his nest, just enough to wake the crickets hidden among them. One by one they stirred, their legs rubbing together in a sleepy, chirping chorus. The owlet's ear tufts perked up, and with a contented peep, he nestled deeper into the downy feathers of his nest. The cricket's song wrapped around him like a blanket, and soon his breathing slowed into the steady rhythm of deep sleep. 2 wishes. Now, Ruby. Her window was slightly open, her stuffed dragon tucked under her arm. Zephyr slipped inside, swirling around the room until she found what she needed, Ruby's storybook, left open on the floor. The pages fluttered as Zephyr lifted them, searching for the most exciting part. The dragon soaring over emerald mountains, its wings spread wide. With the last of her nighttime magic, Zephyr breathed over the pages, lifting the words right off them. They shimmered in the air for a moment, glowing faintly before settling over Ruby like a second blanket. She murmured something unintelligible, then smiled, her fingers tightening around her stuffed dragon. 3 wishes. The sky was brightening now, streaks of gold cutting through the blue. Zephyr could feel the night's magic thinning, the wishes in her grasp growing lighter, ready to dissolve with the dawn. But there was one last thing she needed to check. Leo. She circled back to his house, slipping through the crack in his window. The brave light still glowed beside his pillow, soft and steady. The shadows in the room no longer loomed. They curled at the edges of the light like contented cats, harmless and sleepy. Leo's face was peaceful, his breathing slow. His stuffed bear had slipped from his grip, but he didn't reach for it. He didn't need to. Zephyr lingered for just a moment longer, watching as the first true rays of sunlight stretched across his floor. Then, with a quiet sigh, she let herself unwind, the last of the night's wishes scattering like mist in the morning air. Her work was done. For now. The end of Chapter 4. Chapter 5. The Breeze's Promise. The sun stretched its golden fingers across the sky, painting the world in warm hues of apricot and honey, Birds began their morning songs, and flowers yawned open to greet the light. The night was over its magic, tucked away like a well-loved storybook. But Zephyr wasn't quite ready to rest. She drifted back to the quiet hill where her journey had begun, the grass still damp with dew. The air smelled of earth and possibility. Exhaustion tugged at her, but her breeze hummed with quiet satisfaction. Leah wasn't afraid anymore. Mia was dreaming of flight. The owlet slept soundly, and Ruby's imagination danced with dragons. Yet, as Zephyr settled into the crook of a sleepy willow's branches, she realized something wonderful. The wishes never really stopped. Somewhere, a little girl was wishing on the first star of the evening. A baby fox, curled in its den, whimpered for a lullaby only the wind could hear. And though the sun was rising, the world was already gathering new hopes, new dreams, teeny glowing embers waiting to be carried. Zephyr sighed, a contented ripple in the air. She wasn't just a breeze. She was a keeper of wishes, a weaver of comfort, and tonight, when the world grew quiet again, she'd be ready. But for now, a soft chuckle startled her. Twinkle the glowbug hovered nearby, her light dimmed to a drowsy flicker. "You did it," she whispered. "We did it," Zephyr corrected. Twinkle's antennae twitched. "Will you do it again tomorrow?" Zephyr looked out over the waking world. The children rubbing their eyes, the animals beginning their day, the last few stars winking goodbye. Somewhere Leo was probably sitting up in bed, blinking at the morning light with a newfound bravery in his heart. "Of course," Zephyr murmured. And with that promise, she finally let herself unwind, her breeze dissolving into the warm, sunlit air. But if you listened very, very closely, maybe as you tucked yourself under the covers tonight, you'd hear the faintest whisper, floating through your window. No wish is too small. No night is too dark. I'll be here, always, to help you find your light. Then, just like you, the wishing breeze drifted into dreams of her own. End of chapter 5. The end.